Hello, beloveds. It is day 4, and today we're talking about trust, surrender, and divine guidance. And this is the Embodied Live series, and I'm day 4 of water fasting, and I'm super high. It's fascinating. It's so fascinating. And so here we are in another spot in my magical garden. And I've been having the live in different spots, different days, and I'm just, in a way, I'm like, I think I'm blissed out, but it's good. It's really good. And today I want to speak on a very near and dear topic. Trust, surrender, and divine guidance have been how I've been living my life as I've embodied more into my feminine essence. This is how I live. And I'm going to share more of what I mean by this, but in 2022, my word for the year was trust. And like I shared, hello, how are you? At Lover Ma, how are you doing? And so as you're coming on, you can say hi. If you're catching the replay, you can also write in the comment section. I always read your comments, so as things resonate with you, definitely comment. And if you have any questions, etc. And so in 2022, I chose the word trust for my word of the year. And like I mentioned, I think it was in day 1 or day 2, I can't remember. But essentially, the universe, the divine, gives you opportunities to trust. If you want to build trust, you're going to get opportunities where you need to trust. So usually in moments where we need to trust, it is in challenging moments when things don't really go our way or how we think we want them to go, or something seems like really bad and we're like, why is this happening? I don't understand. And for me, I've been in these years experiencing like crazy dismantlings where like things fall apart. Like even me leaving Malibu and moving to Ibiza, it was because of a series of circumstances that was making it very clear, like, it's not time, like you're not meant to live in Malibu anymore, you need to go. And for me, I truly love living in Ibiza way more than Malibu. So I did need to trust. And when I got that divine guidance, and what I mean by divine guidance is when you meditate and you build your intuition, like we had a day all on intuition, and you build these aspects of yourself, you're going to get information in other ways, not from your logical mind. It might be from signs and synchronicities. Someone might appear in your life as a divine messenger and share information with you that then changes how you respond to life and the actions you take and the things you do. And it makes no logical sense. But all of a sudden you might hear that whisper that's like, go to that store or go visit Ibiza. Right? And when we don't listen, sometimes we suffer. And actually right now, inside my New Earth group, my New Earth Telegram channel, the container for 30 days, there's about 6-7 days left before the next container starts. It's called Divine Guidance, the path of highest will. Because as humans, we have an ego. And the ego wants things a certain way. And the ego believes like, this is what I want, this is what I believe, this is how it has to go, and if it doesn't, we're devastated. But when you start to live from trust and surrender, you don't let things have a hold over you. And so as an embodied woman, you want to stay really composed and grounded and centered. So if you operate from trust, and you operate from the belief system, I am so divinely guided, supported, and protected, that if something happens, and it's painful, and you don't like it, you can still trust. You can still trust like, that had to happen. So one of the things that happened to me was, when I was leaving Malibu, I delayed my flight another week. There was a part of me that like, wanted to go, but didn't want to go. And by delaying my flight a week, I got stung by a stingray, and it cut my tendons. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have just listened. And I was trying to go against all the signs I was receiving. So then the universe made it really clear, like, and when I looked at the symbology of stingrays, it is about move, take action, go. So I learned my lesson. And there's been so many more since then. And so when I talk about surrender, surrender does not mean giving up. Surrender actually means allowing yourself to be led. So if you're living in trust of divine guidance, meaning little intuitions that pop into your mind, or signs and synchronicities. So synchronicities are when you think of something and then you keep receiving the message. It could be in a song, in a book. Someone could tell you about something. You could even ask, like, oh, where's the best place for me to, I don't know, I need a massage, right? Let's say if you say that to yourself, like, I need body work, I need to shift my energy. Or you're like, I should apply it to, let's say if you're like, I really need something to shift me out of this, what I'm in right now. I know that I'm meant for more. I know that I'm here to embody greater feminine radiance, and my life is meant to flow with more ease and grace. And I want to expand my business or my career, and I want to heal these aspects. And then all of a sudden you pop on here and there's the Embodied Woman program that starts next week. That's like a divine send. Like, how often there's like a million things on social media, but then you log on right at the right time where there's someone who you resonate with, because if you're following me, you resonate with me, who's offering a 6-month journey to greater healing, to deepen in your spirituality. How beautiful! To deepen in your feminine spirituality, to bring your life, your love, your business to the next level. Like, those kinds of things are synchronicities. Like, you ask something, and through some vessel, a person, a place, a thing, it delivers to you. You're reminded, yes, I need to pay attention. And the thing about living from trust, surrender, and divine guidance, so essentially you're surrendering to the divine. If you were in a beloved romantic relationship, or you want to be, you also would surrender to the masculine. You'd surrender to your man. That helps to keep polarity. You don't want to be a boss in your romantic relationship unless you're embodying the masculine and he's embodying the feminine. But most people don't want that. You want to be the feminine that can surrender, and we do this work in the Embodied Woman program. Your shared practices and ways, mindset and embodiment practices to help you surrender to your man even more. And what that does is it creates that juicy passion as if it's the beginning of the relationship. And so much of our work as women is to learn to surrender. If you're here to be an embodied woman and you're on a spiritual path, or you want to be, right? This program is for you because you learn how to surrender and why it's good to surrender. When you surrender, you let go of control. Everything you try to control makes you hardened, makes you contracted, makes you kind of, how do I say this without sounding judgmental, because I'm not, but it makes you sometimes difficult, right? Whereas if you're in such deep trust that everything is serving your greatest becoming, that you are so divinely guided, supported, and protected, and when you receive the divine guidance, you surrender to it, your life starts to flow with more ease and grace. And I made this shift really big in 2022, and it was because I felt like I knew I needed to leave Malibu, because for some reason I knew in Europe I would find love. And I had been so in my masculine, so hyper independent, moved beachfront Malibu on my own, no man paying for it, really like a boss babe in my work. And it's been a constant process of unlearning that like hardened shell of like, I can do it all. Whereas we're meant to be supported. As feminine embodied women, we're so meant to be supported by the divine, by life, by our men. And not because we need it, but because it's nourishing. And it's like the laws of the universe. As the feminine, even like we have a vagina that receives the penis. Like, it's just the laws of the universe. As the feminine, we receive the semen to co-create life, like just from the physiologic nature aspects of things. So as women, we are the receivers. So if you got out of your way more and surrendered and trusted more and received even more, because the universe wants to support you in every way, life would happen like so beautifully and easily. And that's a lot of the work we do as embodied women, is we learn to receive. Because most of us, pretty much if you grew up in Western culture, you were programmed to do it all, to be the superwoman, to be the boss babe, to be the boss. And it's like, actually, your way of being the boss, or rather your superpowers, come from your gentleness, your softness, your love, your compassion, your forgiveness. It's a different set of skills and strengths. And you can still have everything you desire, but it doesn't have to come through force or making things happen. It actually happens more easily and gracefully and beautifully when you learn to surrender. And it is a softening practice. It's like de-armoring. It's taking off the armor, because we grew up in a masculine culture where things like doing were really valued, whereas your beingness is enough as a feminine woman. Your beingness alone, because of your energy. And we're going to talk about love and the embodiment of love, and I think we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I always feel into the energy of what we're going to talk about. But it is a relearning. To be an embodied woman, it's an unlearning of everything you learned in school, society, and family. And it's stepping into a completely different way of being. And what I've observed, it's a really funny actually. I can't make plans anymore. And that's like, what? Coming from being a medical doctor, type A, schedule sorted out. I would get mad at my friends if they were like a few minutes late to lunch or dinner. Like, I was such a stickler for like all these things, and I still honor time, of course, and I still schedule things. Like the calls for the Embodied Woman program will be scheduled, which, by the way, we start next week on solstice. I would love to have you. And now, like, I book one-way tickets everywhere. Like, I don't know what my plans are going to be. Like, I was just, after I was in Colombia and Peru, I went to visit my family in New York. And the first question is, oh, how long are you here for? And I'm like, I don't know. I need to feel it. And people are like, what? So it's not that you don't have a goal, because you do. You have a goal. You have goals. You have things you want to achieve and realize in life. But it's always like, this or whatever is my highest path. And it's the how is not your responsibility. That's where you need to trust and surrender. You don't know how it's going to unfold. And when you get it stuck in your mind how you want it to be, you're actually limiting possibilities. So to be an embodied woman, you need to feel in the moment and use your intuition and be surrendered to the events, and then make a decision in every right now moment. It's not like planning days in advance, because some of my greatest life interceptions, maybe like the divine interventions, happened not from plan. It was when I was flowing and I was trusting and I was listening to the divine guidance through my meditations, through honing my intuition. It's a completely different way of being, of course. But when you cultivate it, you're going to see like, oh my gosh, this is manifesting even better than I could have planned. And that spontaneous nature to just live life every day brings you to places and people you would have never been able to connect with. So it's really a beautiful thing when we start to let go of control, surrender, be led by the divine, and having that connection to the divine and being intuition-led, love-led, that's an embodied woman. And that creates the life that we so desire, that's nourishing, that's good for our nervous system and our health. Because when we're operating outside of this alignment, out of this feminine alignment, we get sick. And a lot of women suffer from adrenal fatigue and energy issues and just feeling like life is too much. But that's like the texture of spaciousness, where you can just flow and do your morning practices and do your work and share your gifts with the world, but from overflow, not from pressure. This is when we start to feel really fulfilled and happy and like, and life gets to be as beautiful as we know it's meant to be. And of course, that quality of trust and surrender enhances our romantic relationships too. And then we have that juicy passion with our beloveds. So there's a few ways for you to work more and deepen in trust and surrender. I have my 2 ascension codes, trust and surrender. And they're like these workshops online that are also healing sessions. And they're just $33. Super accessible and easy. And inside of my New Earth codes, and it's a monthly membership, you get all of the ascension codes and all of the abundance codes. And they're all like these healing workshops to support. You get light language and energy healing. And it's like an hour long, give or take. Each one's a little different, but around that. And so they're like, you can play them and instantly feel a shift. It shifts your mindset, shifts your energy fields, and you're different after them. And as I mentioned, inside of the New Earth Telegram group, there's the Divine Guidance. It's a 30-day daily transmission that also includes different ascension codes. And abundance was the one I shared this week, actually. So you actually get that inside the Divine Guidance, and that's $99 for the month. And then it's that membership that I talked about that you continue. And next month we're doing a Money in Abundance 30-day challenge, so if that interests you. And then lastly, of course, inside of the Embodied Woman program, this is the work. This is the somatic work, the embodiment work, to be trust, to be surrendered, to be able to hone your capacity and your intuition to hear divine guidance. So you're acting in alignment with your highest timeline, what's highest will, not what your ego thinks is best for you, but what your highest self knows is best, because that part of you operates outside of time and space. And it knows the plan of your life and what's your highest destiny. So, thank you for tuning in today. We have another 3 days coming up. If you haven't caught up in the other days, I invite you to catch up there. Reach out to me, message me if you have questions, you want to chat about the programs, about anything I shared. I'm here, I'm available. Message me in my inbox. Big kiss to you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.